Victor Naraki would like to take this opportunity to thank all of his clients and customers for their support throughout the past year. Victor would like to remind all of you that this is the time for family and friends to come together and celebrate this joyful season in whatever form it takes for you and your loved ones. Be kind to each other in this festive season and the new year ahead. On behalf of the Grand Circle Tour podcast and Victor Naraki, all the best for the holidays, and here's a wish for a safe, healthy, and happy new year.
Hey gang, welcome to another exciting episode of the Grand Circle Tour podcast. I am Stan Solo, and I'm here with my favorite co-host, Mission Commander Justin. Justin, how are you today?
I am fantastic, Stan. How are you?
I am amazing, but you already knew that.
I did already know that.
So for those of you watching live, you're probably wondering what's going on. This sounds like a regular podcast. And for those of you listening at home, you're saying this sounds like a regular podcast because this is going to be both. We're doing a Facebook Live, YouTube Live podcast recording.
Yeah, that's not confusing at all.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of doing the live shows and then putting it out as a recording later. But this is a special announcement. So we're going to do it live, and we're also going to release it as a regular show.
Absolutely. So that is why we are here. We have some special announcements tonight to make, and we are very excited about those announcements.
So Dan is saying, what's a podcast?
Never heard of it. I don't know what a podcast even is.
Yeah. And Mary is confused, but that's okay. She's...
That's all right, Mary. We are confused as well.
And Holly had no idea that was the plan. Holly, unfortunately, can't make it today on the live show, which is our usual co-host we have on the live show. Usually it's Holly, Justin, and myself on the live show, and Holly was unable to make it. We did have plans to have Jay and Dan also join us because we have a big special announcement coming up. So we wanted to have the whole gang here, and just made plans. That's what happens when you're doing live, right?
That is the danger of the live show always.
Yes. Katie is saying, I never heard of y'all.
That's right. I don't listen to our show either.
Saying, you have a podcast? Yeah, it's not just a solo show. It's another podcast as well. So we got a couple of announcements, huge announcements. And we want to kind of get to that right away. But before we do that, you want to do the tip of the week?
Oh, I suppose I don't have Holly here to do this for me.
You don't have Holly here to do that, so I'll let you look it up. And while you got what, 8 seconds while I play the jingle. Hang on. And that was the wrong one. Great one. Hang on. See what happens when we take a week off and get that long pause. You'd have to take a week off just to get which jingle we're doing and everything.
Okay, so tonight's tip of the week is brought to you by Victor Naraki at DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com. And the tip is, if you're going on a cruise, join a Facebook group ahead of time for your cruise or your specific resort if you are going on a trip. That way you'll get some great tips and advice for events as well as some money sharing ideas. And I will add to that as well. If you're going on a cruise, a lot of times in those Facebook groups, they'll set up what's called a fish extender group, where you'll hang a little thing on your door and exchange little gifts with each other. And that is a lot of fun as well. Yeah,
exactly. It's not the same when Holly's not here. She always laughs at my... For those of you listening, you can't see it, but I always put a little... Is it a GIF or GIF or a video?
You know,
a little video.
Just think of it as a little video. You can pronounce it GIF or GIF.
Okay.
That has been a point of contention amongst the internet crowd for as long as the format has existed.
Yeah.
There is no right way.
Mary's saying we're missing, everyone is sick. That's the problem. That's why nobody's here. So that
Well,
was
it
brought
is
to
end
you.
of the year, and that's when we get these kind of problems. But yes, so once again, the tip of the day was brought to you by DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com and Victor Naraki. If you are looking to move to the Orlando area, he's the guy to talk to. He knows all about how to make that happen. He can bring you to the magic.
Exactly. How was your Christmas?
I had a fantastic Christmas. I got to spend time with both my family and my wife's family, so we had a great time.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I had a good Christmas. We had a lot of my wife's family came out, and they brought their dogs, which actually, but my brother-in-law's dog is a beautiful dog. I almost want to get a dog now because of if I can get a dog that's exactly like that, I might be interested in getting a dog.
If it weren't for allergies, we would probably have a dog.
Oh yeah, how about cats? Are you allergic to cats too?
I'm even more allergic to
Yeah,
cats
that's
than
right.
I am to
Remember when you
dogs.
came down and like 15 cats wanted to snuggle with you? So let's get to the first big announcement right off the hop. I got a new hat for Christmas. See, look at this. It's the 50th anniversary hat.
And so for all your podcast listeners, look at his hat. Look at his hat. It's a fantastic hat.
My daughter got it for me.
That Stan bought me a hat for Christmas. So
Yeah,
I
there
was
you
very
go.
excited about that.
I didn't buy it for you. I made it for you.
He made it for me. This is
Yeah.
well, you bought the fabric.
About the fabric.
You bought the fabric and then made it for me out of the fabric.
But you know what's funny though is it's a Lego hat,
It is.
but it's not made out of Lego. like you say, I got a Lego hat and scarf. That's got to be uncomfortable. That can't be the most comfortable hat and scarf you've ever seen.
Well, have you seen that Target has a whole line of Lego themed merchandise, and a lot of that is clothing. Like
I didn't
hats
see
and
that because we
clothing.
don't have Target in Canada.
Oh right. You're in a different country.
You know, it's weird. Target came to Canada and they invested. It had to have been close to $1 billion. They built these stores right across the country, and they gave it like a week, and then they closed them all. Like it was ridiculous. They built one not too far from me, a massive 2-story Target, and had underground parking, and it was huge, a brand new building, and then they closed them down like in no time at all.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, Holly says we are a mess. I don't know what. Sorry.
Oh, we just can't make it without her.
Oh, we can't make it without her. Yes, no, I know. We miss Holly. Target has a bunch of Lego stuff in the front now. There you see.
We are a mess. We do miss you, Holly. Hope you feel better and can come back next week.
Yes, yes. Mary says she loves Target. That's so weird. People listening at home are going to be, what are they talking about? They just keep randomly reading things. I have no idea. Do you want to make the first big announcement?
Well, which one are we doing first?
We're bringing something back to the show.
Okay,
Something or
well,
someone.
or someone.
Or someone.
So yes, our first announcement is we are bringing back one of our previous co-hosts to the show, and the listeners can't see that we have the Beast from Beauty and the Beast here coming back to the show.
The Beast is back.
The Beast is back. Or maybe it's someone hiding behind the Beast.
Along
It is
with
our
my
good
buddy
friend.
Denis.
Oh, it is our good friend Kris Banas. She is coming back to the show after taking a bit of time off. I believe partly because she was moving from one state to another even.
Yes,
So, I
10
mean-
hours away. Yes.
That
It
is
was a big ordeal. I will tell you that.
so I'm guessing you had to like sell your house in one place and buy the house in the new place, and
Yep.
and there's also it is such a pain to do that. I haven't had to do that for about 15 years now, and don't look forward to the next time I have to do it.
It was a great ordeal getting the old house ready to sell. Not that it needed a ton of work, but it was a 65-year-old house that needed to be updated here and there. And when my husband bought the house from his parents back in 1990, his parents had retired and moved to a lake house, and they just left a bunch of their stuff there, and it was still there. So we had to go through all of that, and that was a challenge in itself, and then putting it up for sale. Fortunately, it sold within 24 hours.
Wow.
So that was really good, because we didn't have this constant stream of people coming through. But then we had to deal with where we were going to go, because it sold so fast and we had to get out. Closing was 30 days later, and we were homeless.
Well, I can understand why you left the podcast at that point.
So we
So Kris was living in her car, and
so we went to my father-in-law's for a couple weeks, and then Paul actually came down to Tennessee, and he was helping his friend do something, and we thought that we were going to start building a house. Well, then I came down here and we started looking around, because the building aspect was not going to work out, because we found out some things that we weren't real happy about. So we started looking around, and we just happened to find this house that we wound up buying that was 3/4 of the way done. And we still could have some input on it, so I could still personalize it to what, some things and colors and stuff that I wanted. And we closed on this house on December 15th, and we moved in last week. So we're, still in the process of getting settled, but, I feel like my life is sort of getting back to the world.
Oh, well, we'll change that. There's nothing normal about this podcast.
Well, normal is normal is, right, with this podcast. So that's funny. Yeah, so it's good to be back, and I look forward to a great year ahead. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you sold your house, did you have to sell your microphone as well? You sound so hollow in that room.
It is packed up. We still have not located the box where my webcam and my microphone are.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll find that sooner than later. But there's nothing in this room except for our computers right now. It's wood flooring, and there's no material anywhere. So there's nothing to suck up the echo.
Yeah, it does sound a little echoey in there, but yeah, like you say, once you get a little more settled in, it'll be better.
Yeah. So for people that have joined listening to the show since you left, let's find out a little bit about you, because you're not. I mean, for the longtime listeners, you're back and they know you, but we have a lot of new listeners since you've left, and they don't know you unless they went back and listened to past episodes.
Right.
So what is your favorite park?
My favorite park is Magic Kingdom, with a close second of Epcot.
Nice. And do you have a favorite? So Magic Kingdom, do you have a favorite sit-down restaurant in Magic Kingdom, or is your favorite restaurant nowhere near Magic Kingdom like it should be?
Boy, I was the food fairy, and I will continue to be the food fairy, because that's one of my favorite subjects is Disney dining. And I've got to say, probably my favorite sit down in Magic Kingdom is Skipper Canteen. And I know Jay if he's listening, he's going to be jumping up and down, because I know that's his favorite as well.
Mary says you better not say Tony's.
I'm not going to say St. Tony's.
It's
Even though I
Pizza
don't have-
all the way.
I don't have the disdain for it that Mary does. I think that my favorite place out of Magic Kingdom is, gosh, there's so many, but I honestly, I love Takumi Tay and Epcot. I have been there several times, and I've had a wonderful experience every time. So I would have to say that.
Hang on, where?
It's Takumi Tay. It's one of the newer places.
Is that the Japanese, the new Japanese one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I haven't been there
Yeah,
yet.
it sits below Tokyo Dining.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's great now. It wasn't open, the last couple times that I was there because of COVID. They still had not reopened a lot of those places that all the people that work there are actually from Japan because they're there on the exchange thing.
Yeah.
And that one still, I still don't think it's open.
Oh, wow.
Which is a shame, but
Yeah.
hopefully maybe this coming year it will be open.
Yeah, no kidding. And how about your favorite attraction?
My favorite attraction, hands down, Pirates of the Caribbean. It will always be my favorite. I know a lot of listeners who are here have been here for quite some time know that for a fact. It was the very first attraction that I went on in 1976 on my very first trip to Disney World. And when I started taking my kids in the 90s, that was the first one I took them on. And they always loved going on it and said, they always had to go on that first when we went, and they started calling it our ride. So I still think of it that way.
Yeah.
And it is such a classic attraction.
Pirates is so
it's a good
yeah.
it's a good pick.
Yeah. And what about your Disney history? How long have you been going to Disney? Have you been to Disneyland or any of the overseas parks?
I have. Well, I've been going to Disney World since '76, and I think even though my last trip was very unsuccessful, and we're going to go into that detail maybe on a detour sometime, so I don't want to spoil that. But this trip that I took this past month was my 33rd trip.
Nice.
Wow.
I have been to Disneyland twice, once in '78 and once in 2016. I have been on 2 Disney cruises, the Dream and the Wonder in 2012 and 2014.
I can't remember stuff like that. Like I know I've been on the Wonder a couple of times in the fan. I have no idea what year.
I have this thing about dates.
I can't remember years.
I can't remember what happened yesterday.
I remember what happened yesterday. I had to work Boxing Day. That's what happened yesterday. For those of you that don't know, Boxing Day is traditionally the day we box everything up and return it back to the store.
That is exactly where the name comes from.
Yeah.
And there's no other reason for it.
Yeah, we just return the stuff we got for Christmas we don't want. I don't know why it's called Boxing Day. I really don't. But it's a long time holiday, which is traditionally everything's closed. Just like Christmas Day, everything's closed.
Mm-hmm.
Stan isn't good with names or dates. Yeah, or places, or
or details,
pronunciation.
But it makes a great host and knows people. So there we go.
What are you most excited for on the podcast? What do you want to get out of this place?
Oh my goodness. Just interacting with all of you and interacting with our listeners when we have lives or, when we get comments. I'm just really thrilled to be back and to get in the groove again. So.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back for sure.
Thank you.
So I want to say, I'm the guy who always does all this research. And so one of the things that I did before this is I listened to the old podcast from 2 years ago when we both joined the show.
Oh my
And I have
God.
to say, both of your answers are almost identical to the ones you gave back then.
Yeah. Actually, I
Good
listened
for
to
you.
that one as well.
I love that consistency.
I still have a mind.
So you might ask me my favorite attraction 12 times. I could give you 12 different answers.
No. Well, of course, I'm a huge Ariel fan. So, I mean, like, Pirates is my favorite because of tradition. But if you said, what's one that you absolutely cannot ever miss besides that, it would be the Little Mermaid attraction in Magic Kingdom. I could go on that time after time after time. And if any of you listeners have ever been on that attraction when I'm there, I know you have heard me singing at the top of my voice. So I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, you heard her.
Right.
Yeah, I actually met Kris in person at Epcot. We hung out for a day, and I was in line for Figment. It was an unusual long line for Figment, and so Kris said, "I'm getting into the line now." So when I got to the front of the line, I let probably like 50 people go ahead of me, waiting for Kris to show up. And we were able to ride Figment. That's how we met in person.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Holly's in the chat, and she's saying, "Ooh, what was my answer?" LOL. I remember exactly what Holly's answer was without having to listen to it. Do you remember, Justin or Kris? Do you remember
For which question?
her favorite attraction?
Oh my gosh.
It's an answer that nobody ever gives for their favorite attraction at Walt Disney World.
Oh, dinosaur.
Yes.
Right? She said, well, she specifically said that Indiana Jones at Disneyland and Dinosaur at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
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 I'm telling you, I did my research.
Okay. Do you want to announce our other than my hat and Kris, our other big announcement for the day?
What? We have a third announcement? Yes, we do. We, in addition to Kris coming back, we are absolutely thrilled to bring on another member of our little troop here. We have a new podcaster, and her name is Beatrice Denis. Say hello to Beatrice.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, and we are so thrilled to have you here. So, for any listeners or viewers, if you are fans of a little podcast other than this one called WDW Radio, you might know Beatrice from that community. She's been a member of that community for many years, and that's where I met her.
Yep. So I met all of you.
Oh, Dan says, finally a real co-host. My new favorite co-host.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
I'm gonna have enemies already.
So first of all, I want to say how thrilled we are to have you here. And I have known you, I've met you several times over the years. I think the first time would have been in like 2016 on the one of the first Star Wars Day at Sea cruises with Lou and his gang. And then in 2018, we met again at Yeehaw Bob's at Port Orleans Riverside. And I was also on this little Disney cruise to Alaska that same year. You might remember it.
I think there was a wedding on that ship. I
think there was a wedding involved on that one.
Yes.
So I didn't get to talk to you much on that one because you were a bit busy getting married.
I actually have the thing behind me with little icons on the
on the ice
his
floe
logo that year. So we were the little bride and groom icons. That was a very, very fun trip for me. So memorable.
It was very exciting. I still remember though from the Star Wars cruise after we went to one of those presentations on the ship about Star Wars, and you excitedly pronounced that you were now an expert in Star Wars.
Yep. They told us that we could say that. We learned what color lightsabers are the good guys and the bad guys and all the stuff. So I had never been a huge Star Wars fan before Disney got into the Star Wars world, and so I felt like being on the cruise was my way to learn all about it. So I'm an expert. Yeah.
You
Just
also
don't ask me the
got into
question.
Marvel since Disney took over Marvel too, I think, eh?
Absolutely. And actually, next month we are going on the Marvel Day at Sea. So I will have some fun experiences to share there too.
Oh, I look forward to hearing about that.
So are you more of a Marvel fan or a Star Wars fan?
I am a much bigger Marvel fan.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
kind of thought.
Love Marvel. So Avengers Campus, when I was in Disneyland last month, was absolutely, I was crying when I walked into there, which I didn't expect to feel so emotional, but my family is huge into Star Wars. So I kind of wish that my guys had been there. So I was like sending them tons and tons of pictures of all the things. And I was like, we have to come back together. So it was a wonderful experience.
I am so looking forward to seeing that. I will be in Disneyland in February, so I am looking forward to seeing the Avengers Campus. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
I know who her favorite Marvel hero is. I know.
My Hulky!
It's not easy
Well, my
being
friends
green.
think it sounds creepy.
It's not
when I
easy
say my
being green.
Hulky.
I know I've seen pictures of you several times next to the big Lego sculpture of the Incredible Hulk.
That's not there anymore. Well, the one in Under Armour at Disney Springs was my favorite because it looked so realistic, and that has been moved.
Aw.
Oh,
If there's
we have a
there,
question.
I have a place.
we have a question in the chat here. What's your favorite Marvel show so far? I'm assuming he's talking about the TV series on Disney Plus.
Ooh, I am loving Hawkeye right now, actually. I would say that one. I think that's fantastic.
I love that one. I think they did a fantastic job in that one. I did really enjoy WandaVision, probably more than a lot of other people did, but I really enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah. Steve Browning, Mary's wife, is in the chat, and he's saying, I know B from Goffstock,
Oh, yes.
which is kind of
Hear
like,
me.
yeah, that's kind of different. It's amazing how, like, I know B from WW Radio from going way back. And the very first time I met you, Beatrice, I'm trying to remember where it was. It must have been, I think it was a meetup before the Marvel Day at Sea cruise, or the Star Wars cruise, I mean.
Oh, we went on one cruise that I remember. We were in Mexico, and you haggled for a hat for me, and I will
Yes.
not forget that. You were like, "Look, I got this." It
Yeah, I
was
know
like
you were going to pay full price in Mexico for a hat. Are you crazy? No. I got it down to
I
half
had
price.
no idea. It was like I was watching you buy a car. It was like 30, no 10, no 19, no. Like,
So-
what is going on?
So I remember the first time we met, and you kind of lost a bit of your southern accent since then. That was a couple of years ago, quite a few years ago. But I remember you going, "Oh, Stanley, it's so nice to finally meet you in person." Do you remember what I said to you?
What's that?
I
no,
said,
don't.
"You're not originally from Florida, are you?"
No. I moved here in 2010, and it's funny because sometimes I bring out that more than others. I try really hard not to bring it out all the time. My mother was German. She got her U.S. citizenship when I was a child, and my dad was from Brooklyn, New York. So I don't know. I got a little bit of used guys and all this other crazy. I got all of it. And then I grew up in North Carolina. So I was. We moved there when I was a year and a half old, and my dad retired from the Army in Fort Bragg. So that's where I grew up and have all my childhood memories. But
I'm reading the chat here, and Mary's saying that, okay, Beatrice has to record in that voice. I shouldn't say Stan has to record in that voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say Stan has to record in that voice. I want to hear more of Stan's.
And then Marla is saying, Beatrice helped me pass along an Orange Bird Funko to Stan. And I remember that as well, because Marla purchased an Orange Bird Funko for me and gave it to you to give to me. And I said, right there. Right behind. For people listening, it's hard to see.
So one of the questions we ask our co-host here is, when did you first start your Disney obsession? When did you first fall in love with Disney?
So my father gave me my very first Pooh Bear when I was a kid, and I know this is audio, but I keep him close to me, so I hug him a lot, and I have a childhood Mickey Mouse necklace that I put around his neck, and he stays pretty close to me when I'm working, when I'm, doing all sorts of stuff, so sometimes it just gives me comfort. My mother was not a Disney person. She very vocally said that she's not a Mickey Mouse person, she is a reality person, so she did not love the fact. We kind of had a little thing against each other on that one, because she didn't support my little Fantasyland ideas. But my dad, she always blamed my dad for that. And so growing up, I was more of a stuffed animal kind of girl, like all the different kinds of plush. But I typically loved bears the most. And Winnie the Pooh has always been my favorite character because he's a bear and he's Disney. And my first trip to Disney was in 2000. And it was the most amazing vacation of my entire life. I cried when I left. On that day, I purchased Disney Vacation Club because I knew I wanted to come back. And since that time, I've been, now I am a travel agent, so I help lots of people come here. But that was just the moment that I knew that I wanted to come back, and I had to find a way. So from there, I've done 4 Disney cruises. I've done an Adventures by Disney trip to California, where we were able to go into Walt's apartment and into Walt's office. And
Muppet Studios.
Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I got to ride the carousel where his daughters rode the carousel, where he developed the idea to do all of this. I got to see the Herb Ryman drawing that they took to the bank. So many wonderful memories over the years. So many wonderful friends over the years that I've met along the way. So it's just been a truly wonderful experience. When I first came to Disney World in 2000, I worked at a TV station in North Carolina. And little did I know that I went to school for radio and television broadcasting, but little did I know that I was just destined to somehow be here. I just truly feel like I am where I am happiest, and I love every second of it. So
yeah. Now, Kris, you know Beatrice very, very well.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for her?
Well, so one I don't know the answer to.
I know, right? You know all of them.
What would you say is your favorite restaurant? Or do you prefer table service or quick service?
I would say my favorite restaurant is Beer Garden, and that's because my mom was a German chef. So growing up every year on my birthday, I'd ask for the things that they have in that buffet. So it's kind of the closest thing that I can get to, my home and some of my special moments growing up.
Barry saying better not be Beer Garden's a great answer, and I'm thinking, I'm always thinking ahead. And I was thinking, when we do our Grand Circle Tour meetup at Walt Disney World, we have to go out for dinner. And my initial reaction was to do a musical review, to have a dine there. But Beer Garden would be just as good.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. Probably even better, because it would give us, mind you, they have breaks in between the entertainment at Hoop to Do. You can chat and stuff as well. So, but yeah.
Yep.
So how many of the Disney parks have you been to? Is it just Disneyland or Disney World, or have you been to some of the other parks as well?
Just the U.S. parks right now, but
So far, okay.
I would love to go to all of them at some point, but just the U.S. right now. Our
What ones
wedding
do
was
you
on the
most want to go to outside of the U.S.?
Oddly enough, it's Paris, just because I want to also take in the city and do a lot of the European kind of things around there. My very first theme park ever as a child was when I was visiting relatives in Germany, and it was Europa Park. And I remember I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. I will not forget the topiaries and riding a boat in a canal that was like under a bridge, or it looked like a cave ahead of us kind of thing. I just remember those moments, and they had an Europa mouse that looked very similar to Mickey. He has changed over the years. Now I feel like he resembles Chuck E. Cheese a little bit more than he does Mickey. Maybe there were some copyright things along the way. His kind of color is different and his clothes are a little different. But yeah, just because of that, I'd love to do Paris and then visit some other sites around the area too. But Shanghai would be huge on my list as well.
Is that park still there?
It is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it is nowhere near the following as like Disney and some of the other parks, but it is still there.
It would be cool to go back there though.
Yeah, I would love to see it. So if that's on my list, mix it all in together.
Oh,
Shanghai was fantastic. I was able to go to Hong Kong and Shanghai, and they are both wonderful parks. But yeah, Shanghai is fantastic. I want to go to Tokyo now because I haven't been there yet.
2023, we're all going to Tokyo.
There we go.
That's the plan. Let's write it down.
Well, another question we like to ask is what are you most looking forward to about being on this podcast? What are you looking forward to getting out of it?
I'm looking forward to all the friends. I already have all of you guys. I've met you before, but it's just so much fun to mix and mingle with the Disney community. I mean, there's so many great friends out there. So I really enjoy that so much. So, and who knows, maybe we can do more meetups at Disney World since I'm here. And, I know Holly does that sometimes at Disneyland. So maybe we can kind of have both parks covered and just have tons of fun with our friends out there.
Yeah, I don't have to ask which one, what park you consider your home park, because we all kind of know. When you live close enough to a park that you can see the fireworks from your backyard, we kind of know which park is your home park.
So which is your favorite park, though, of the ones you've been to?
It's
including
always been
California
Epcot.
Adventure and Disneyland, including California Adventure with the Marvel Land. Not putting you on a spot or nothing.
From the beginning on, it was Epcot just because of the countries. I have, my German background. My dad's family was from Norway and I had never been there. So it was just made me feel like I could, see so many of the different countries and things. So I'm real excited about, I always have to stick to that, but I think I get so excited with Magic Kingdom and, California Adventure and so many of the rides at Disneyland I love on that coast more than I do here, even though this one's in my backyard. So it's one of those you can't pick.
I like the political answer you gave there, how you named off every single park you've been to, other than Hollywood and Animal Kingdom. So we know which ones you don't like.
Right. My original favorite was always Epcot, so it's very, very close to my heart. But I feel such excitement at Magic Kingdom, and with the fireworks in my backyard, and I can hear the water pageant go by. So I think over the past few years, it might have grown to be more of that, just because it's home.
And I guess soon you'll be hearing the train whistle going again.
Oh, I can't wait. I saw the tram today for the first time in person, so that was exciting. So they're doing the trams from the parking lot, which is good. And
yay!
Yeah, I know, right?
Whatever. It's like gas prices. Who cares? I don't use them.
I don't typically use them either. I was just very excited to see it today. And today I was on a time crunch. So I did kind of use it going in, but I didn't use it coming back out. So, yeah. And a lot of times I will tell you from personal listening experience, listening for that train, the riverboat sounds very much like the train. So that steam whistle sure does. So many times I was like, oh, is the train back? But it's not yet. And I've actually had to stop on my way home because the train was crossing the street to go back into its wheelhouse or roundhouse. What is it? When it comes in or goes out in the morning or in the evening, I have actually stopped because it had to cross. And I'm like, I can't believe I live here. I just sit there and cry. I'm like, okay, I'm being a dork right now. But I do. I still get excited every day.
I am so glad.
And I can attest to that because I spent 3 days at her house and I saw that firsthand.
I was bringing Kris to my house and I'm like, look, there's a monorail. We're passing Station Earth. Look, there's a monorail on my way home. I used to drive to work, and every day on my drive in to work, it would say, welcome to the, no, on my drive in, it would say, welcome to the Magic Kingdom. And on my way home, it would say, see you real soon, or, vice versa, whichever way I was going in. But yeah, it's like, welcome and see you real soon every day on my drive in. And it was magical. I'd see the mouse ears. There's an electric tower that has mouse ears shape, and that's near Celebration. I would see that on my drive, and it's just like I would get excited every day.
Holly's in the chat, and she's saying that we now have 2 criers on the show.
Yep.
Yeah, ever since George left, there's only the 2 criers. There was only one for a while.
I try to compose myself, but I can make no promises.
Favorite attraction? We haven't asked that yet, no?
No.
I know what it is.
Pooh. Yep. I have to go Winnie the Pooh.
I was going to say,
Even
you
though
better
he
not
killed
see Dinosaur,
Mr.
because
Toad
that's
out
already
here.
taken.
I have
No, it's not dinosaur.
I've taken some flack over that because now Mr. Toad is gone just because of that. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she has to go to California to go on Mr. Toad. So
I do.
But Winnie the Pooh is a fun attraction all the same.
Yeah.
it is.
Mary calls it the cardboard attraction. The cardboard cutouts.
With the Hufflumps and Woozles.
Yeah.
See, I have a particular love for Tigger myself, so I love the bouncing part of that attraction.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And I love the hero honey at the end. Yeah, hooray!
Hooray!
I never get off that ride without going, hooray! Like I'm like 5 again.
Me either. Me either. What about your ultimate Disney bucket list item? What is one big Disney bucket list item that you haven't done?
Yeah. We didn't ask Kris that either. We'll ask both of them that.
If there was ever a way to spend a night in that castle again. Well, no, I've never stayed in the castle, but I know that they used to do that, like during the Year of a Million Dreams or certain things like that. I don't think they do it at all right now, but if they were to start that up again, I would totally be in on trying to figure out how to get myself in there for one night. I know.
Yeah. How about you, Kris?
Mine is Alani. That is my ultimate bucket list item. Checked Ireland off 2 years ago because that was number 1 and Alani was number 2. So now Alani's moved up to the top of the list. So.
Nice.
And I can heartily recommend it, especially if you like a lazy river.
When I do.
was the best lazy river I have ever experienced. I loved it.
Yeah, it
Every
looks
minute of it.
great.
Holly is saying great bucket list items.
Yeah,
Both of them,
absolutely.
yes. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking for something on my screen here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. What do you most love about Disney?
Ooh.
Ah,
I would say I love the spirit of Disney. It just kind of embodies this happiness that so many people from all over the world have. And they might not even speak the same language or anything, but somehow you're like all together on that. I was just on Small World today, and there was a family in front of me, and I don't know that they spoke English. And I was watching her camera phone the entire time because they were in the row ahead of me, and she recorded the entire ride, and watching her hand go from side to side and show this side, and it just felt like such a wonderful feeling that I would definitely say the spirit of Walt's wishes for all families and that kind of thing to enjoy together, and how it truly still does that.
mm-hmm.
That is a wonderful answer.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Kris, can you top that?
Ditto. No, I mean it just makes you be able to escape. Whatever you have on your mind, you can totally just forget about it and be yourself, or be your 10-year-old self, or whatever you want it to be the time that you're there. And I think that's why it's so special to so many people, because I think you can make it your own when you're there.
I would have to agree with you there, because it is this wonderful escape from reality, because once you're there, you're in that magic, and all the rest of your cares and concerns of the outside world just kind of melt away.
That they do.
And I love that about it.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's like some of the things that we've missed for so long are starting to come back.
Oops, sorry.
Today I walked by Casey's, and I saw the pianist out there just playing the Lion King music. And then he went right into Little Mermaid, and just seeing him perform again, the Dapper Dans, just the different fun experiences. Now, Dapper Dans have been back for a while, but just seeing some of the individual performers that I hadn't seen yet coming back, it just, every single time I see another one, I get all excited all over again. I'm like, oh, you're back.
I am so excited for especially like some of those Streetmosphere characters to come back like that. I love all of those, because they help with that immersion. They help with that magic of just kind of stumbling across, hey, there's this character playing, like you say, playing piano or whatever, and I love all of that, and I'm so excited to see those coming back.
It's like the drummers in Japan. When you did not hear that for the whole time that they were gone, there was something missing, because they add so much to the authenticity of that whole area that you're like, wow, I don't know this place without hearing those drums. And because it seemed like every time I have been there the last few years, except for while they were gone, I always caught it right when they were there. So that always made it so much more fun.
It's almost as if they had like turned off the background music, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's like it's something.
Yes.
It's just something missing, and
Yep.
Yeah. So the chat, I'm going to ask you what you think, but we already have the answer. But I'm Captain Solo. We got Mission Commander Justin. Holly is the ringmaster. I'm going to ask the chat what they think Beatrice should be. Dan is the conductor. Kris is the food fairy. Holly is the ringleader with her circus of animals that she lives with. And
of course, Jay and Skipper.
Jungle Skipper Jay. So we want to ask the chat, I'm giving him time to catch up here. What do you think Beatrice should be? We know that she likes Winnie the Pooh. We know that she lives close to Walt Disney World. What else did we find out about her today that might give some tips as to what
is her tour guide role, as it were?
yeah. What tour guide?
Cheermeister.
Voiceover guy Ken is saying Cheermeister Beatrice. We'll because that would be our another announcement that we're going to have today is what Beatrice's tour guide title.
There you go.
I think we don't really came up with what these things are that we have, but we have them.
We came up with these titles and we stick with them for reasons.
Yes. And Beatrice, are you familiar with what Walt's Up is?
Yes.
Okay. So you have listened to an episode then. That's good.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, Kris says Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kris Alardi says Miss Marvel. Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. They are handles. Yes, that's what we call them, handles. There he says.
Yes.
So Beatrice, are you ready to announce what your handle or title or whatever we want to call it is going to be?
Absolutely. So I thought about this, and with the magical conjuring that I can do with my job, I felt like I could be Sorcerer Beatrice.
Ooh.
And then whoever is with me on that day can be my apprentices that day. So we can all be in this together in this magical world.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah,
Sure,
I think
sir.
that's perfect. I think that's really good. I think that's a great handle.
We'll see what kind of adventures we can conjure up.
Just no massive amounts of water, and we'll all be fine.
And you already got your theme music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, we're going to wrap it up. We have a new outro. We also have a new intro, but I didn't use it today. We'll start using it next week for the live shows. So I think I spent 15 minutes putting this together. so don't expect much. But I want to welcome Kris and Beatrice to the show. Now in 2020, the last time when Justin, Holly, Kris came on, it was January 2020 was the first show. And I remember saying that this is going to be our best year yet. I just know it. We all know how that year came out.
Yeah.
2020 wasn't exactly our best year. But this year is going to be our best year yet. I just know
It is. I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for the future of Grand Circle Tour and having you two on board with us.
I'm happy to be back, and I'm so happy that one of my best friends in the world is with me now. So,
yeah.
And I am so excited to be a part of this crew. You guys have been amazing. For those of you that I've known, for those of you that I've just gotten to get to know a little bit and got to meet a little bit, I have enjoyed every second of it so far. So I'm so excited for what's ahead.
And we're excited to have you as well. So
Yes.
Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah. And for those of you that didn't figure out that these two were the special announcements, you didn't listen very well to the Charlie Brown Christmas show, did you? Because Beatrice and Kris were both part of that.
And they did a fantastic job. Like, although everyone did a fantastic job.
Everybody.
and for whoever who hasn't listened to that yet, everybody needs to listen to that. And please make comments, nice comments about it. Because we all worked very hard on it, and especially Ken. voiceover guy, Ken, he did a fabulous job with the narration and the editing, so we thank him a great deal.
Yeah, and I actually got a comment from a friend of mine today that's not a Disney fan at all, but she is a Peanuts fan. So she saw that I posted that we did the Charlie Brown Christmas, so she listened to it just when she messaged me today saying she loved it so much.
Aw, that's
how wonderful
good.
it was. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week on the live. For those of you listening in the audio version, we do a live show every Monday evening at, what time is it, 9 Eastern?
9.
Yep.
9 Eastern.
9 Eastern on YouTube and Facebook live. And for those of you watching live, we have a podcast. You can tune into that once in a while, too. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tours Magical Ticket Holders. While you're on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tours. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tours Podcast, as well as on Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. If you would like to email us, drop us a line at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Only one rule, make it good. All logos, sounds, songs, and music that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are the full ownership of the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be the ownership of the Grand Circle Tour Podcast. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.
Please exit to your left by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.
Please exit by stepping away from the cars with your left foot first. Step out and stand on the moving platform, please.